Satansi Sefo walakahla Nobela nje manje SuperSport
Batsetse ba ikgotlile jalo go tla gore re simolle jalo tiro ya lona ya letsatsi mme fela go thoma jalo Mamelodi Sundowns ba bolotsa tlhatlhelo ba tsaya kgwele ba bolotsa tini kati
but they've given it away here. Selwyn Stevens gets a brace.
Mamelodi Sundowns Sugar Manelisi Mazibuko umnikezile asibaleke manje lapha uzothiwa lapho Satansi Sefo walakahla ayilalela makumnandi iphi inkinga.
Youth football development is the game. Football on 216 is the name. Welcome to its football development number. To Football on 216, where we take you on this ride of football development like you've never seen before. But Football on 216 is not just about the Gauteng Development League. It's not just about the Gauteng Women's Development League. It's about every single pocket of development football in the country. And this episode is dedicated to show you exactly that. Bayhill Premier Cup. Need I say anything more? It's growing, it's developing, and in a few years it's going to be one of the biggest development tournaments in the country. Stick around to the show to find out exclusive insights for that tournament. But we are in our away kit with the guys this time around. They're probably wondering at home, where's the green? Where's the green? Urapeleng, Sisekapa this time, Khotman.
Tando, Lebza, Spiso, Bokari Gokai, Rekele Dumedis.
Yeah, no, re ke ratile ka mo go buileng ka teng tsala ke ya. Wa kuro wa totobatsa.
Ya bingelele.
Ya bingelele Khotman. It was very exciting then, our weekend that we had with the guys Sunday out at the Luka Masterpieces Moripe Stadium at Richville, covering SuperSport United versus Mamelodi Sundowns, the OG Tshwane Derby Lebo Mahume.
Ntsala ke sa ntla ka mo go ramogetseng ka teng ka kwa ntsala ke phakela re tsenela ke bone tsiswa tsa mantsa a lebella dikgoro tsotlhe ntsala ke ra no itse ke no yena ra kura utlwa gore re ha ka re ka dira every week ntsala ke man re tsamaya
Ayitshela nomuzi enze i-night game la mfethu.
Ya kumnandi dane.
Kumnandi night game ya kumnandi.
Under 19 night game ya ka tswa monate.
Would be nice. Right into the talking points and under 13 game. Very exciting that because in the first leg, Coach Karabo and SuperSport United beat Lunga Nobela 2-1. This time, a change in the penalty Lebu, although it's a very exciting watch also.
Mamelodi Sundowns bana le batshameki ntsala ke ra itse rotle fela ba bannye wa bona ha o lebella SuperSport United batshameki wa bona ke bana le mmele bo thabanqena wa bona bo moerane thato wa bona ba ke bana ba re batile ka jalo coach Lunga o tlile ka leano are okay ka go nne mogare ga mpa le balang ka se gone gore ke batshameke sentle tla ke ka go matlhakore ke go ile gore o jile teng go matlhakore ka gone re mone hlomile cheka go tlile sefiswa la ga jersey number 8 na how playing tin tona so coach Lunga Nobela o na le leano
Tuna no Chaka boy.
Chaka and mawuthatha ukubheka mfethu laphana ubengekho lisibe if bekhona lisibe lama packets ka Chaka nakalisibe ngabe sikhulumeni into
ya ke bone intelligence ya le ka bona le la gatlhumi di bolo tsa na di ntsha like defense splitting pass o tsenya fela mo di packeteng.
So let's hear from Coach Lunga Nobela himself. He'll always give you a very good post-match interview. Here's his thoughts after that 2-1 success.
Hi everyone, I'm Coach Lunga Nobela, under 13 head coach for Mamelodi Sundowns. Going to the game straight, first of all, what we've realized is that, thinking about the opponents, how they play, and then sometimes it also advantages us as a team. And now, through our preparation, we're only focusing on ourselves, on what we want to do, what we want to achieve. And I'm happy that the boys, they managed to do that. And coming to this pitch, again, it's a big pitch. But what was important that I told them, it was how we cover the spaces of the pitch. Because it's also very important to say, when we have the ball, then we give a width for us to be able to play out. When we win it, then we need to defend the goals. And for us to defend the goals, we need to be compact. And that is what was happening. Yes, in the middle, somewhere, somehow, they were trying to dominate us, but we didn't allow them to do that. But we saw that the plan, it was to go behind us the first 5 minutes of the first half. And then I told the boys immediately, then we had to adjust and change the situation based on the situation that was happening to say, let's deny them that space to go behind us. Yes, they were coming with Tabang on the left and another boy on the right. Then we said, when they come to Tabang, then we just need to give a 2v1 so that when he beats one, then there's another cover. And it helped us very well. And offensively, to be honest, the boys, they were so good offensively. We created chances. We managed to create the spaces for us to break in between, because now they were able to stretch them wide. Us stretching them wide, it was for us to get the spaces. And knowing that you have someone like Shaka, who has that passes to be able to break the line, to go behind. You know, yes, there's a room for improvement for him. It's just to teach him to say, when you play central, remember there's a keeper. But then it's something that will help the boy. But he has an eye to see the space. And he has an eye also to see when he has to dribble, to go in, or when he has to pass. But I'm happy with the rest of the boys. They did very well. They know we have a plan this season, and our plan this season is just to make sure that we develop them and prepare them for the under-15s, because it's a second round of the league. And once we do the right thing to develop them, then it will be easy for us to get results in these remaining games.
So that's Coach Lunga Nobela of Mamelodi Sundowns. He says that they are still aiming to develop the boys. That's what he says the goal is for the season. But we really know, guys, that there's an underlying goal here. He's in a bit of a title race, is Lunga Nobela with PUBG.
Ntsala ke lebella re ba saletse ka metshameko le mora e bile mebedi ko morago ka jalo ne ke buela ne ke lebeletse dipalopalo league ga tikeng lock ya under 13 coach Lunga Nobela ha ka gapa metshameko ga re yotlhe Chiefs ya go mosia ka 1 point fela ha ka e gapa yotlhe fela tshwantse Chiefs latlhegele gore a khone go batlola ka jalo a Mohammed ba mdutlo go dumela a riti.
Well, we'll have to find out if this guy can do. Mela SLK Mukhale of Mamelodi Sundowns under 15. He hasn't lost a game, and he opens the scoring in 20 seconds. Or
20 seconds. Ke ke re ke a futhumala. But I think ke ona fela no enileng teng wa bona re khula dina ga ena nnete. Ke no e lengwe fela enileng teng mo motshabekong otlhe. Me ke nagana fela gore SuperSport ga ba tsa di tshono tsa bona. Nneto mafanya nka ba phanitse Sundown a lot of times because o na le ditšhono di khole di le dintse o na sa connect sentle le tsona ka jalo ke re Sundown e sindile fa le nka rialo.
Yeah, mawubheka lapha ama 15 bekhona abadlali ade bengekho ku SuperSport United. Uzokhuluma ngo Gold ubengekho uthando Gold, uzokhuluma ngo Rocco. uRocco uyothanda okwazi ukuphasa uncedo mafanya. So kungabikho kwakhe kubonakele. Mara ku Sundowns into nama ngibonanga ama jacket.
Ama jacket
But yeah, le mdlalo besicabanga because bakore nge 20 seconds. Besicabanga ukuthi mhlawumbe amagoli azoba u5 lapha and Sundowns bilokhu ikokode ishaya amapali. But kwaya shifambi kahle kwagcina ku 1-0.
So maybe the Sundowns, though, continue their dominance in that head-to-head, in that fixture. In the under-17 game, they win 3-0 against United. There's a penalty that United win, but no problem for Luke Holden and Sundowns. They keep the clean sheets.
Luke Holden no blind. Blind Luke Holden. Ke mone fela penalty e tla go ra wa go tla le yone phele. O motelle ntsala ke ka mo go ha o ka lebela sentle o ntse le tsogo la gage a ya tlela ka jalo ntsala ke man ke ile ka utla botlhokonyana gore ke ine ba sa bana one goal nyana mane ba kwalla konte 3-0 under 17 no go le blind.
Straight from the Cape, Selwyn Stevens scores a brace fiso. He's an international representative.
Lalela lento le ebonisa ukuthi ama scouts aseningizimu Afrika ayawubona umsebenzi. Le ntwana le bayithathile bayifaka lapha na ku South Africa and uyabona ukuthi bayithatheleni inswempu kakhulu. Mara kule ka Luke Holding ipenalty be good noma yena be good asazi ke lapha.
Let's touch on Kamohelo Mare. Let's quickly. We saw him for the first time in Sundowns colors. Kaslako.
A ke itse gore Kamohelo e kete go na le diphetogoanyana a ke re o ntse sebakanyana a sa tshameke go Kaizer Chiefs e kete e rile ba utlwa gore wa tsama e ba mmela go thoko go se go nene o gainile mmele ga ntsantsi a sa dire sepe ka go o mone le motsatsi la ne se Kamogelo e leng gore re motloetse ra mo itse ke bone gape le mo karolong ya bobedi ba mo ntshetsa ka kwantle ga re itse maybe o tla tsama a pick up motshameko wa gagwe Kamogelo.
But so we spoke to Lunga after the game. He says they took him off because SuperSports were kind of targeting him. He's on a yellow card already and he's receiving lots of the ball.
Yeah, ngicabanga kanjalo ndiyazi ukuthi untwana naye kakhulukazi uyashesha ukubuyisela mayizomkapa uyayenza lento uLebs ukhulumile ngayo yabona idiscipline yabona nalapho but le khuluma ngayo besiyesa khuluma ukuthi Kaizer Chiefs izwe kuthiwa uyahamba yathi hayi hamba uhlala lapha phansi so iweight igenile but mangizwa ukuthi untwana ngingekudala ngenza simbone kuma 19 ajime ne DDC so yeah.
So it was, the guys have really made me laugh. They've said, sat down, up until that point, the results really started to shift in the under-19 game. 4-0 to SuperSport United. What do they do right there, Rapele?
Sure. But vota DDC team ya bona fela. ga o ka lebelela bo Lazola Makuna ba le teng ka mo setlhopheng seo o lebelele bo Samir Matera na ba le teng ka da Siphesihle Jeza na ba le teng ga o ka tsa o lebelela SuperSport e tle ka DDC team ya bona go motshamekong so a ke makale gore setlhopha se le sa Sundowns ba ile ba latlhegelwa mme fela ke tshepa ile gore ne ile practice match ya DDC team ka gore DDC ya simolla mo mafelong a be ke atlang go na le sengwe se se etsagetseng mo motshamekong o Karabo Modika re mo tlwaetsa tshameka ko makawane wa dingwaga di le ka fa tlase ga somele o tshamekile ko makawane di le kwa tlase ga somele bo robongwe first yellow card penalty ya editseng mo first half second half we tackle after surprise Moriri a mmiletsa ko bankeng ba ira ba mo ira substitute that was supposed to be a red card second bookable offense for Karabo Modika
Yeah. Hey. Before we get to Sfiso, I want to hear from the guy that surprised Muriri. Here's Tumelo Ndaba on his take about how they got the success done.
Yeah, my name is Tumelo Ndaba, SuperSport Under 19 coach. Yeah, man, it's been long since we've won the game. I think second half of the season, we had to integrate other players to our DDC team, and it disturbed our rhythm in terms of the way we're playing. Because you have to move the players every time. You have to play with the different personnel because the boys that they played now today, they were playing with the Diski team. So today at least I got them all. That is why they did well. I think the boys did well. Defensively, we were more better than them. Tactically, in terms of defending, attacking, we were good. You can see the new child that you just signed now, the right winger, Jeza from KZN Shawimoy Academy, is doing well, very explosive, good with 1v1, and I'm happy for him, the way he performed. Even on the middle, Lazola giving experience from the under-20 national team. You can see the way he controlled the middle field, the way he moved the ball on the middle. We were precise with our attack. We letting them to have the ball. After having the ball, immediately if they come to us, we knew that we had speed going forward. So we closing those. We had those traps in terms of waiting for them. Whilst they are vulnerable at the back, then we just play the ball there. Then we are explosive at front.
So Tumelo Ndaba comes to Edridgeville and says, surprise, 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 Muriri. Here's 4 goals. Fisokuhle Msimango.
Mina angazi ukuthi ukuvutha noma yini le. If usineyintwana edlala ku DDC and futhi isaqualify ukudlala, why singayibuyisa ukuthi siwine? Siphesihle Jazz ukukhumbule lo gama bengakayiboni istrike. Le muntu mayithola ibhola yaphambili uzawabanja ama cramp baba. Ngenxa ukuthi uyagijima.
Is number 13
But bamthole KZN. That's what he says in the interview then that they find him from KZN.
Sure. Hayi ayagijima bese laphana emumva mfethu kunama defender khona abafuni next ma defender SuperSport United. Lento engiyibonayo eTDC yadise izoba ntswempu kakhulu. Bengilindeleke laphana Kobisi inhle ukuthi bam introduce but siyathemba ukuthi nini sombona.
Lebza, let's conclude the segment with you, man.
one name Sugar le Cake
Sugar le Cake.
feditse Manelix Mazibuko mona tshameka na le free na le mo free roll na di ntsha dithago tse lentsa ka jalo a Sugar le Cake ba tshamekile bontle thata ntsa like
no di le tharo di assist tsa ga Sugar le Cake
that's why ke itse one name Sugar le Cake.
Mina vele ngiyakora
He did say his goals were a certain number of assists, so he's really getting to that point in time. But that's it's been the Gauteng Development League. Exciting, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Let's take a little bit of a ride now on Football on 216 and head all the way to the Cape. Stay with us to find out.
Momnando mnandi maiguwe iguwe ngeke bakuthathele yona vandag Twitter Selwyn Stevens, how's it me out here? Sharp man we want to know bra, where are you from and how did you get to Mamelodi Sundowns?
I'm from Cape Town. I don't know much about where Sundowns got me, but I know that there was a speaking about I'm coming to Sundowns.
Okay.
Yes, and as I know Coach Lunga, most of the coaches I know.
Yes.
So that was more for me, like upon me coming to Sundowns.
Tell me something, man. Is there a difference between playing in Cape Town and playing in Gauteng?
Yes, in Cape Town it's competitive there, but my lowest league that I played there, we were winning like 12-0 every game.
Yo, 12-0.
So when I came here at Sundowns, it was 1-0, 2-0. So talent is here. It's more competitive here.
Ne?
Talent versus talent, yeah.
Oh, one more thing, man. Last thing. You play for the national team. How is it there being on camp with the boys, playing for the national team?
It's good playing with the best in South Africa out of youngsters.
Yeah?
Milford boy, Tepsa,
Aish.
all of them, Kam.
Yeah.
All the best is playing in one team, so it's a good experience, and I can tell of the experience.
Ntwana umnandi, man. Tell me something before you go me out here. There's a young boy who's looking up to you. They want to end up being like you, playing for one of the biggest teams in South Africa. What can you say to that young man?
Never stop praying. Pray every night, each and every night. So my mother is the one that always carry me through everything. So I want to give praise to God, to my mother. So for the boy, heads up. God is there for him. He can do much better. And yes.
It is still Mother's Month, Women's Month rather. So happy Women's Month. That was Selwyn Stevens. Momnandu mnandi, maeguwe iguwe.
Satati Sefo, Walagasha. Satati Sefo, Walagasha.
So we've built up to it extensively. Bayhill Premier Cup, 35 years of the competition. Let's get the elephant out the room. It's been here for way longer than I have. It's been here longer than I think these studios have, and longer than SuperSport Schools has been in existence. We find out how exactly you're able to create such a successful tournament, especially in the youth game. I've tagged up with Coach Coscarinho with me in studio, and we're speaking to Rayan Ali, who's the tournament director, as well as PJ Williams, the previous tournament director. Guys, good evening.
Good evening to you.
How was the flight then? You guys have a good flight down. Where are you staying in Joburg for the time being?
We don't actually want to reveal where we're staying. We're staying at the Southern Sun out there in the Rosebank. Flight was good. It was quick. We had to jump on this opportunity to come into studio with you guys, so we're really excited to be.
We've been eager to have you guys here. Cosca, man, good evening. How are you?
Evening, my brother. Evening. I'm well, and I'm even excited because the tournament, I believe, was incepted in 1987. Same age as mine, because they just mentioned off air now that they had a gap of 3 years. But I'm all right. I'm with them there by the Southern Sun, so we are enjoying the view there.
You've flown down from Rio. They don't know that you're from Rio.
No, for sure. They know now, eh?
Perhaps we could just start with you guys introducing, before we get into the intricacies of the tournament, Ali, your role, who you are, and how you've become to being involved with Bayhill.
Okay, so I've been the tournament director now for the last 2 years, kind of taken over from Mr. PJ Williams, who's been there since 1989. I think just to correct Costa, we actually started in 1989, but the planning started obviously in 1987 for the very first tournament.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to be part of this event for 20 years, 21 years. So I've played in the role of being part of the IT structure. So we've got a IT partner that looks after all the information, images, results, fixtures, journalism, photography, all those things sits in an IT hub. So I used to work in that IT hub before. There was a previous principal partner that we had on board, and I worked with that principal partner as well. So I kind of know my way around the tournament, not obviously as well as Mr. PJ Williams, but we learn as we go along. So I was part of a succession plan that started about 12 years ago. PJ approached me and said, listen, Ray, our guys are becoming a little bit long in the tooth now, so somebody needs to kind of take over from where they're going to leave off.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a natural progression from where I'd started. I love football. I played in this event with Santos. I've got a winner's trophy with Nassif Morris.
Nice.
So I think this is in our blood. In Cape Town, if you don't know Bayhill in Cape Town, then you're sleeping.
You're Bayhill born and bred, Mr. PJ Williams, and it all starts with you.
Yeah, we started off very humbly within the football community in Rocklands. We started off with 16 teams at that time, and then we carried on and we built it up to 24, and then to 28, and then to 32 where we are today. This tournament has brought such a lot of emphasis on football in the community. Not only players, match officials, a lot of things occurred through this event over the years.
Before we get to Cosca, I want to find out what's the thinking behind starting it then, right? Because you're involved in the inception. What's the thinking behind we want to have a tournament like this and do X, Y, Z?
Yeah, so this event was born in the era where a junior player was a junior player. So after 18 years old, you finish, you're no longer a junior, but you don't make it to the senior ranks. And we lost a lot of players through that. We lost a lot of the interest and, you know, the evil ills of this world. And then, so we decided, listen, let's get something to keep them into football. Okay. At that time, the narrative was, you're a junior, you're not allowed to play in a senior match. So we spoke to the powers that be and said, listen, can we at least have 3 players in a senior team of 17, 18-year-old? And they said yes. So the year after that, the interest started to build because by now each team had the liberty of fielding 3 junior players in a senior team.
Yeah.
And then we decided, look at this. These players are actually holding their own among the seniors.
Yeah.
And we said we need to build a platform where they can have their own status. And we started this event. Roger Clayton was a custodian at the time. It was his brainchild, and we built it from there. And once we started this, let me tell you, once we started this, football or amateur football became younger and younger and younger. Now we see 17, 18-year-olds in pro sides. And that is where it started. Because why we had the initiative to give a platform to those young players. That is where we started.
That's fascinating to hear, Mr. Williams. And I just want to come back to you, Mr. Ali, regarding the community engagement. Are you guys involved, and how is the tournament influencing the community, or how are you guys engaging with the community?
Our tournament definitely has a big impact on community, and we are essentially community-driven first and foremost, because all the players naturally from the Western Cape come from these communities. Me, myself, I'm from Mitchell's Plain, which is seen as an impoverished community, and we're in the surrounds of the Kailichas and Philippines of this world. And the majority of our players come from the Cape Flats that participate in this event. But besides only players, we also create a platform for vendor engagement. So because there's so many supporters and we've got a massive crowd that comes to this event, we're looking about between 4,000 to 6,000 people per day at the Erika Park venue, and then 12,000 to 15,000 people at the Athlone Stadium. And our goal is kind of like to push and make sure that we can fill Athlone Stadium in time to come. But from a community standpoint, we create opportunities for vendors, so the spaza shops and your Boerewors roll stands and so on. So people can come in from the community, sell whatever they need to do in order for them to obviously kind of make money there. And then if we have to really delve down into how it actually impacts communities, is we can take stories like, and Nasi, forgive me if you're watching, he actually sent me a message yesterday to ask why we had the Tuks game. You can see us on TV. So, like if I look at Nasif, we guys all grew up together in Mitchell's Plain, but the tournament creates that opportunity to change your life in 6 days. So Nasif played there, got called up, I think it's Panathinaikos, and off he went. He's playing in Greece now all of a sudden. Mishlali Mayambela. All of a sudden, Geo Gardens. 4 days, he's gone. So how does that impact the community? Imagine one day you're looking for bread, money, the next day you're earning 50,000, 60,000. Do you understand? So this is the impact that it has on community, and not only the footballers. Just like PJ mentioned earlier on, there's referees that come through the tournament as well, and they get assessed because they also want to reach a higher level. And many referees has come through. Jerome Darman has come through. I mean, he was on the FIFA panel. I think he's serving on CAF now at the moment. So there's a lot of feel-good stories, and not 1, 2, 3. hundreds to thousands.
Feel-good stories.
Hundreds to thousands of feel-good stories. I'm sure you guys are going to ask us later, mention some names, and we're going to roll a list for you, and I'm going to see how much of those players you actually know.
But then to do this, to ignite those dreams for 35 years must not be easy, right? We see these tournaments happen all over. Koka, I see a tournament comes, happens for 2-3 years, it's done. What has contributed to the success of the Bayhill Premier Cup year in, year out?
So you see, what we did is we made the property or the event. It belongs to the football community. Now, at the event, you will find adjudicators, you will find coaches, you will find scouts, liaison officers, all from the community, all from the football community. And not only, they're not part of the committee. They volunteer and they want to be. Do you know that they actually apply to be part of the event? A lot of people apply. They send in their application, and then we have to adjudicate it and see it. Now let's take them. Students who are busy with their studies in sports management. Ray has got he's got a program for journalists and photographers that it's part of the event. Now this event belongs to the football community, and we like to say we only manage it for them, but they are the custodians. Without those people, this event would never have been where it is today.
Now, that's fascinating to hear. And Ray, I believe you played with Jean Makiti at Santos Day.
Jean Makiti with Nasif Morris.
Yeah. No, Tando, you won't drink.
You guys are kicking me out.
No, man, I'm fascinated to understand the structure as to how have you guys structured over the years? How have you structured it in terms of qualifications? Because I believe now soon the playoffs are going to start.
Do I answer that?
Please.
Okay, so what had happened, let's call it from just after 2010, I would imagine. We had an influx of teams wanting to participate in the event, but obviously it's a 32-team tournament. And what we generally try and do is create a good mix between how many PSL teams we accept into the event, how many local LFA teams we accept. And when I say local, I'm speaking about the Western Cape, and then how many visiting amateur teams do we bring in, and how many teams from far and abroad teams from abroad do we bring into the tournament. So obviously we couldn't accept all the applications from the Western Cape, and what that meant now is we needed to create this type of playoff system. And initially we started off with a home and away round where teams would play against each other, and eventually after 8 or 9 weeks, we dwindled them down to 16 teams, and we then allowed these 16 teams to participate in the event. But as time went on, we now dwindled it down to 12 teams. So we have about between 180 to 250 applications annually just in the Western Cape clubs. We kind of vet those applications and check the teams. You know, some teams are here today, gone tomorrow, or they were just born, they only have one team in their club. But the reality is teams need to be registered with SAFA. They need to be affiliated. The clubs need to be affiliated with the mother body for them to participate in our playoffs. So we generally accept about 200 teams annually, to be honest, And then we run a playoff for 7 weeks, and all that culminates into what we call a round-robin stage. So we have like a little mini tournament before the tournament actually happens. So 6 weeks goes by, and then we have like 24 teams remaining, and these 24 teams now play for 12 spots in the tournament proper. And that is I wouldn't say a bigger spectacle than the tournament, but it's a bigger emotional spectacle. It's tears, it's people crying, it's, you know what the nice thing about how things has changed in Cape Town and the camaraderie in development football is that when your team lost, your guys are crying, but you're still going to lift the guys that beat you and yeah, you know what I mean. So it's turning to that, and that is unique to the Bayhill Premier Cup. You generally don't find that happening in football. You know, people get angry if they lose, but by us, it's not. We also look a lot at what your conduct is. So if I see a Tando, he's got a bad conduct, next year I'm going to be watching
Now that you mention it, Roy, man, hey, we had, I think it's 3 weeks in a running now, the incident. Please, let's not mention the name, the ethos. But it's been 3 weeks, and if you're speaking about that behavior, it's sort of like you are saying, coming into whatever that you now are doing and going forward. So now, my follow-up question to that, actually, I just want a clear insight as to, now you guys have these teams with you, but I hear that you are also inviting teams from abroad. Maybe you can elaborate more on that, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, we don't only get applications from local or South Africans. We get applications from the continent. We've got application. We had Swansea participating in the event.
Wow.
Twice.
Yeah.
Swansea, like UK?
Swansea from UK.
Yeah.
We had a team from Germany, 2 teams from Germany before participating in the event. We had a team from Manchester participating.
What team from Manchester?
Yes.
What Manchester team?
Yeah, it's a local team, but it's Manchester. I'm a Manchester supporter. I have to mention that. Zesco played in our event twice. We've had teams from Ghana. We had about 8 Kusafa teams.
In Germany, Amina Bielefeld.
Amina Bielefeld was here.
Okay.
Played in the event. Just as a feedback, Bielefeld, they would have or could have won the tournament. But there was something went wrong with their traveling arrangements going back. So they had to, Bielefeld.
Oh, okay. Oh, Amina, yes.
Bielefeld. So they had to leave earlier. They couldn't play the semi-final.
What?
I tell you, it was sad. The players were crying. The spectators were crying. Because here was a team that they were supporting.
Yeah.
And they had to leave earlier. Because something went wrong with the traveling arrangements. But
in South Africa, we deal with you, Muti.
Hey, you had to see PJ falling the consulate general. Can't we change these people?
No, really.
Yeah, it was like that.
No, really, we really tried. Yeah. We really tried. But as a coach says, mute is much stronger than trying.
No, guys, don't be surprised that coach is asking all these questions. He struggles to qualify for tournaments. So that's why he's asking about how to qualify. But then, still on the topic of teams that participate at the Bayhill Premier Cup, is it a tournament that favors Western Cape-based academies? Because I was watching some of the games from home. I think it was a Highlands quarterfinal. Geez, man, some of the conditions, it's raining, it's proper Cape weather, right? And you see a Cape versus Cape final, Stellenbosch, Cape Town Spurs. So does it favor your home-based teams or can outside teams come in and pull a number?
I definitely don't think that it's a valid question. And it's a question that would obviously get asked more often than not.
Yeah.
But it's definitely doesn't favor home-based teams. I think the only favor to home-based teams is that there are more home-based teams than outside teams, and good for us because we want our people from the community to get exposure. You understand? But if I look at your Sundowners, your Tuks, SuperSports of the world, they come down every year. Highlands Park, they're there every single year. Yeah. They understand our conditions, and they also understand if you want to create a high-performance athlete, he needs to be able to play under these conditions. I mean, we were at the Tuks match yesterday. This guy was saying, listen, we know if we come to Cape Town, we're in the trenches, we must dig out the result in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So now it kind of gives the players an exposure way before the time. And look at Bootle Majavu behind us here. So he won player of the tournament. But if you look at all your academies here in Gauteng, look at the players that are being picked up. It's always SuperSport youngsters picked up. Where do they come from? Bayhill. It's always like now. Stellenbosch is the one that's going like this now, right? Yeah. Where's that players coming from? Bayhill. Sundowns. Where are they coming from? Bayhill. Do you understand? So I suppose it favors us with regards to numbers, but conditions-wise and so on, you have to be able to play under those circumstances. Our biggest down factor in Cape Town is the wind. But even us, We're afraid of the wind and the rain. I mean, now we've had 6 weeks of constant rain.
Yeah.
And 6 weeks of delayed football in Cape, because all the matches been cancelled on LFA level, waterlogged, too much wind. It was crazy for the last 6 weeks in Cape Town. So now it's about us now catching up. So it doesn't really favor us. We wait for favorable conditions to play. But if you had to tell a Cape Town team to choose, I want to play in a windy, rainy condition against Sundowns, he's going to say no. He wants to have good conditions because he wants to play proper football.
Okay. Now that you're mentioning the dynamics of the gameplay, Ray, I'm a numbers person, and I've already looked at some of the games, the semis, more especially the final, and I saw a lot of actions in the final, the 4-1 final versus FN. So it's FN and Cape Town City. There was a penalty that was saved. There were so many actions, 4 goals scored, 1 conceded from that penalty. So I'm just fascinated to understand, because since you are a tech guy, how are you guys sort of like managing? Because speaking from the playoffs, the round robins and everything, and to the final. So I want to understand, how are you guys managing sort of like the load in terms of collecting the data? Do you guys have specialized people that are doing that? An entity, like you said before, that you guys had someone doing it for you guys, and he's no longer there. And considering the fact that the Bayhill has been there for so long, so I want to understand exactly as to how are you guys doing it now compared to what you have been doing in the over the years. Yeah.
Okay. This Rylex company that we have, the Rylex IT company, you'll see the flags flying around at tournament level. That company was actually created by us in the tournament committee.
Okay.
And a large part of that company is volunteering. So I studied IT, and we've got another guy, Ryan Roberts, that's also part of our LOC. He also studied IT, and the idea was, what do we do with all this information? Because remember the time we came on board, the tournament was almost already 15 years old. So now we've come there and we're saying, guys, hey, how do I see this picture of Benny McCarthy? I need to pull it up.
Yeah.
But I can't pull it up. I need to go to PJ, and he's got his brown satchel. He's going to open it up. He's taking out all these photographs. We must make photocopies of this. I said, no, it can't happen like that.
Yeah.
There's digital cameras out there, but now I don't have the skill set to go and shoot. I need to train myself.
Yeah.
So we've got guys like Roger Cedrus. He's the Olympic photographer South Africa. He's a good friend of mine. Dude, teach me. Teaches me. I'm shooting. I can shoot a little bit of sports photography now.
Yeah.
And what's the next best thing I need to do? And I need to find other sports photographers. But where do I find them? No, in the community. Can you play PlayStation?
Oh.
If you can play PlayStation and FIFA, you're going to know how to use the control. You're going to know how to use the camera. So now I take guys from Mitchell's Plain to come and shoot for us.
Yeah.
And we grew that company. And I'm going to get to the stats now.
Yeah.
But if you guys must know Lorenz Kochla.
Yeah.
He's the 10-bet, and I just get times now.
Yep. Yeah.
He started here.
Yo.
Writing his first article, you can ask him in front of me, behind me. He's going to tell you about the Bayhill Premier Cup. Rob Dalport, he's cutting his teeth at the Bayhill Premier Cup. And these aren't Mickey Mouse journalists. These are top guys.
Yeah.
Lonwabo Marele, they started here.
Commentator, yeah.
Yeah, and he's also a journalist. Leslie DeVos, now that you guys are crying about, you want to challenge him out in Cape Town. He started here, but he's doing well on SuperSport schools as well. So with regards to the stats, it was just about us creating a home for the future-based stats, and then kind of working our way back into the historic archives and kind of just putting everything on a server and into a database. So when you ask a question now, it's easy for us to just punch in a name, Nasif Morris. Okay, cool. We know you played 1998, 1999. That was the years that you played. These were the amount of goals that were scored and so on. But obviously, it's a work in progress if it's voluntary. Do you understand? It's not like this is a company. We're just a soccer club that gets together, arranges a tournament. Well, it takes us about 8 months it takes us about 8 months of working every day to arrange a tournament. Now you still have these extra add-ons of tech and data. But I mean, with the inclusion now, and I mean the access to tech is easier now for us. Do you understand? So I think things will become easier as we move forward. And I mean, with the inclusion of SuperSport schools, you get sorry, you guys are all tech driven. So
no, for sure.
I'm sure you have a plan in the back of your mind as to what you're going to do.
Schools will
with
never
these
disappoint.
stats. Yeah.
They'll never disappoint.
Because now I can literally say, you know what, this match ended 3-0, but I can pick up the goals also in a digital format. You can actually watch it. You know what I mean? It's very different than before. We just read an article.
And
Gives you convenience.
now you can see the match.
Yeah. Speaking of SuperSport schools, PJ, back when the tournament was first hosted, there's no broadcaster. You have to be there in the Cape. Now, the SuperSport schools, you're able to broadcast to beyond Cape Town, this Bayhill Premier Cup. How's that been, having a broadcaster?
Yeah, imagine what it does to the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to come to the field, and he sees here a guy with a camera, and he runs away because just in case a guy asks him a question. Now he goes home, and he sees here I'm on TV.
Yeah.
And my face is there, I'm playing.
Yeah.
And
my face is there.
My face is there, it's me. The excitement to those players, the opportunities that they get, and the phone calls that they get from the girls after that. so it creates a major excitement to our players and to our football communities. Do you know that people come to buy a Boerewors roll and pose because they know SuperSport, the SuperSport camera is there. And they stand there and pose. SuperSports bring a lot of value to this event. And over the past 2 years that they've been involved, really.
So Oscar, let's go one more question. The time has flown by so much, man.
Yeah, man. And I like the fact that this has been a nice chat. But I want to touch on the numbers. You know, Tando, you get a PSL match that has 304 people on the stadium. And then you go to Cape Town.
4,000
and
in the stand,
the final, 15,000 people. 15. Now, I want to touch more on the match proceeds. You guys get match proceeds. I see that you charge 50 rand a ticket from 15,000 rand. I know it's some sort of tough question to ask, but it has to be asked.
It's a good question.
So as an individual out there, I'd like to know that what is this money used for within the tournament?
Okay. Let me start, and I'm the best person to start. Okay, so besides being the tournament director, I'm also the event organizer. So when you kind of apply to create an event or a tournament, so we are not just a tournament, it's an actual event. So if you're putting together an event, there's a whole lot of applications that need to be filled in, and obviously you need to make sure that you cross all your T's and you dot all your I's with regards to regulations, safety, and all those things. And so from an event organizer's standpoint, what makes a successful event is an event without incident and a safe event, right? So how do I get a safe event? I must make sure that I have security. I must make sure that I have EMS. I must make sure that there's a doctor on site. And the list goes on and on and on. Now with that list comes money.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at an Athlone Stadium on 15,000 people, you're paying about 280,000 rand just for security. Just for security. Now I'm gonna try and debunk this theory that you have about less people in stadiums, etc. If you're looking at EMS, you're looking between 80 and 100,000 rand just to get all those medics on the field. Remember, nothing needs to happen, but nothing could happen, but you still need them there,
for sure.
just for the just in case scenario. Do you understand? So so what had happened was we still play at Erika Park, but Erika Park got a Sasria grading. So what happened at the facilities, the city of Cape Town kind of graded the facility, and then it said, listen, this facility only has a capacity for 4,000 people. So we used to get, like I said, 6,000 people into the venue. We now needed to
expand.
Not expand, we need to now minimize and come down to 4,000 people in the venue. But remember, we've got 1,000 participants. So which means I've got 3,000 people that can come into the venue. But I've got 225 working staff, volunteers, that's working. Down again. I've got 150 security guards. Bam, the number goes down. So now I'm sitting with 2,500 people at the venue, but I'm paying 150,000 for security. How do we work this out? So we say, fine, let us now try and increase the amount to come in at the gate, number one. And also, what type of clientele am I getting in through the gate now? Do you understand what I'm saying? We're a Premier Cup. We want to increase our standard. And by increasing our standard, we increase our price, which means I can bring the supporter or give the supporter a better event. And that's exactly what we did. We bought food trucks. We bought better safety. All the conditions changed. So people, they definitely moaned initially because we went from 10 rands to 50. So it was a big cry. Social media went crazy in 2023. We're not coming to the event. Sold out. We were sold out every single day. We never had tickets. We had to close the gates so people couldn't come in. And then that kind of led us into Athlone Stadium. But Athlone Stadium was new to us, obviously. Now we went to Athlone Stadium. Hey, it's in more than triple the price of Erika Park. So we needed more money at Athlone Stadium without knowing if our supporters are now going to move. It's about, I say 25 Ks maybe, or 20 Ks from where we do the first 5 days. And now they need to move to the big Athlone Stadium. But the supporters came. So the first tournament, which was 2023, we got 12,500. And then this year, 2024, we did 13,500. So our goal is to kind of push to the 15,000. But I just want to get to you when you were speaking about that numbers. Isn't it easier if you book and say, you know what, I'm booking only for 1,000 people to come into the stadium, which means I only need 5 security guards and 1 EMS, etc. I'm only going to pay now 10,000 for my PSL game to happen at that stadium. Whereas I'm an amateur, but I'm paying 300,000 just to be there. But I don't even know if the supporters are coming. And this is why what PJ said earlier on resonates with me. We are nothing without the community and the supporters, because they are the ones that make sure that this event can happen. If they don't come, we can't pay, because everything we're doing is kind of value in kind and hand to mouth, and you know what I mean. So you're always striving to get a big partnership or a big sponsor. And this is what you spoke about early on, Tandu, is tournaments are born today and then they're gone tomorrow. Like what makes the Bayhill stay there is that we've got good partnerships. And most of it isn't necessarily just financial. It's value in kind, it's support. It's, sometimes we sometimes short to run the event. And then all of a sudden, I'm not talking about companies. I'm talking about individuals. Phone call. Hey, Ray, I've got a 200 in your account. Now I'm saying, hey, what can I give you in return? Nothing. But don't make this event fail, my boy. So I've now inherited support from people that I've never ever met. And I suppose it's because of the legacy that PJ and the rest of the LOC have built for so long. And I was fortunate enough to kind of travel this journey for the last 21 years. So people know that they can trust me with the brand, I would imagine. But it's not easy. It's not an easy thing. So I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of people saying 15,000 times 50 rand.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Like even if you look at Pirates, Chiefs, whoever's playing at your stadiums, they're making money from the replica jerseys, not necessarily the bums in the seats, because they must pay for that bums in seat in any case.
Sure. So that is Bayhill Premier Cup. Exciting. I can't wait for the next edition, the 36th edition. And I think I'd like to thank Ray for your time here, for flying down, PJ. Thank you so much, guys, for sitting down with us and giving us the real insights. We can't wait for the next one. Cosca, that was good, man. Yeah, that was nice.
It's been a good one. And we need to give props to also the city of Cape Town. They've played a massive role, I believe, in this. It's been proper.
Yeah. Also, thanks for the book, man. Listen, look here, they gave me a nice book. I'll be commentating with this in the close future. But it's been a good time. Let me bring back my full starting 11 to find out what the guys have to say about Bayhill.
Satati Sefo. Waragasha. Satati Sefo. Waragasha.
So there you have had it, Bayhill Premier Cup. What an event, what a spectacle. I just have one problem, they don't have us and the guys to commentate. Like they're busy with their own commentators there. But is it safe for Stanzalana? I don't know, they must let us go fly and
I think
commentate.
some cutting carton flavor there then
Would be nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. What did you guys make of that then? I really liked it, you know, to see the inside footage, to hear from the organizers of the tournament. I don't know.
Ke tshepa gore Bayhill Premier Cup ke Premier Cup e tona thata ya gola ngwaga ka ngwaga jalo ba lebeletse ditlhopha tse leng gore di katla di tsene di le gore e nne popota thata se se nkgatlang gape ke gore batshamiki ke under 19 tournament batshamiki ba ile gore ba fetsa go ditlhopheng ile gore ke yone o kare a breakthrough to the next level ya di player le di scouts di nna teng di tla go bona gore ke batshamiki ba afeng ba ile gore ba katla ba ba tsenya go ditlhopheng tse di yaanong I think ira tiro entle thata mo ile gore ditlhopha di tshwana le bo Motsepe Foundation ba katla ba itebella ba itopatopela ka fo.
And the talent on show at Bayhill, I mean, we've asked the guys just some questions about it, but the talent is amazing, Sfiso.
Lalela mfethu into engijabulisayo okokuqala ngibonga lama question uCoscarinho lokho wabuza uyabona ukuthi uresearchile ngayo iBayhill kade lokho wabuza but ke into engichazile uMajava ukusuka la eJozi ngoba nawe uyazi ekugcineni bafethu as much as ibhola kuyibhola but ekugcineni into naseJozi sifrustana kakhulu because still anazo ukusuka yi eJozi ayoba player of the tournament after uBathman 2023 ubonisa ngampela ukuthi italent elikhona nanokuhlanganisa nje ama team yaseKapa yaseJozi yakuphi because imazo lokhu wina la eJozi bese uthi ya mina ngicwembu ungicwembu test against abobani so imnandi kakhulu iBayhill ukuthi ihlanganisa wonke lamaqembu lawo.
Ntsala ka re ne re simolola ke gore ile ke re ke bore ke ratile ka mogore ga seditseng teng mo beke fitileng a ke tswa mo gone ba tshamekela kae cup e ba tshameka Sloan Stadium ya go bontsha ntsala ke gore kgolo ya bone ya makatsa fa so ke re ka flyer re gasa teng ka kontsala ka gonne go ntla ba itse stadium go nne atmosphere is amazing ntsala ke batho ba tlile ka bontsi ba tshameki ba bantšha ba tlhopha tse dingwe gape utlwe ba ba tlhopha tse dingwe gape ba batle go nna ile tlhopha tse snow se wa ka jalo go a bontsha gore kgolo e teng mo gare wena ntsala ka jalo nka itumela man re fly a go buele bona ra go itu producer
But I think they use because you know with commentary you like to if it's area specific use the language in that area. I think they use Xhosa commentary but Sfiso yours Xhosa is very good. You know how to
That's better.
Even go
into engichaza mfethu ngaseKapa sibonile na ku engine mfethu kuyagcwala istadium
kuyagcwala
into engichazile ngayo iBayhill bekugcwele kulesi stadium lesiyana mfethu nalokuthi nje bane sponsor icup yakhona ine sponsor into ejabulisa uhlala sikhuluma la sithi sicela ama sponsors kubonakala bona kukhona ibrand ebasponsayo lento le igrand mfethu.
Yeah, I think our very own league that we really hone and develop here, the Gauteng Development League, can take some lessons from the guys at Bayhill. I think they've had good value in this episode. But we return with Gauteng and inland football this weekend, and all roads lead to the village. Kaizer Chiefs, Naturena, they welcome SuperSport United. Once again, not much needs to be said to build up to that type of game, right?
Yeah,
all right, you can start with it, man.
No, le tlona motshameko itumedisang thata ra itse gore Thando fa le Kaizer Chiefs SuperSport le Mamelodi Sundowns SuperSport ke metshameko e leng gore re lebella ka leitlho le lentšhotsho mme fela re tla bona gore bo Kaizer Chiefs ba tla ipaka yang under 17 ya Kaizer Chiefs ntse ba sa diragatse sentle thata ntse re bona ba latlhegelwa mme re tla bona gore SuperSport e tla tla ba tshwaretseng.
So there's a bit of a title race still going on in the under-13 section. Ukarabo, we spoke to him when we were at Ridgeville. He's hungry. Bamji beat him 1-0 last time. Katlego Maleka scored. How do we see those younger games going?
Angazi ukuthi uzowina kwi-Chiefs. Hayi angibone wina i-Chiefs. But then mawubheka laphana uKarabi intana zakhe nazo ziyadlala and izinswim and nezabhamshi ziyadlala. So asithembe ukuthi wonke ama players obe khona lapho. Sibheka uInganathi Salikwa Nkosi yami. Hayi uInganathi Salikwa.
We haven't seen them in a while. Hey.
We haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
Do we see SuperSports under 15s bouncing back? Because I was speaking to SLK after the game yesterday. He says they played well against him, 1-0. Can they cause an upset to Chiefs?
Ntsala ke re buile re ra go Naturena sa go dansa sefe go Naturena ntsala ke so under 15 ke ratile ka mo go buile ka tele ka under 13 gore o mo le mongwe a ka e gapa SuperSport e teng mole, Chiefs e teng mole, Sundowns e teng mole. Under 15 SLK ga e sa latlhegelwe wa Mamelodi Sundowns fela SuperSport e ya ko Chiefs ko under 15 ga re tsoga go diregang tsa le ka gona a SuperSport a ile ko Naturena ntsa like sa dance se so ke batho ba tla ka bontsi so Naturena a re tlatseng a ke re ke mahala go tsena ntsa like a batle ba tlo tla ntsa like go mnate.
We thought the under-19 division was clear-cut and that we had a breakaway leader through Sundowns, but a few weeks into round 2, things have changed. There's been movements, and Chiefs are actually sitting right at the top of the under-19 standings, Fiso. Do we see them holding on? You must feel it's an important one against SuperSport now.
Masingathi siyabheka Chiefs ibuya na kwi-loss ye-Highlands Park. Kuzodepend ukuthi SuperSport United because manje i-DDC yaqala and lama player we-DDC if ibuya nawo wonke lama player akuzoba nenkinga. If ingabuya nawo lama player obosiphethe.
But DDC starts this weekend. They play against
Kwale City. Lento ngishoyo ukuthi okungenzeka bengabuyi nalama player lawe esiwaziyo and then babuye nale SuperSport United le esiyaziyo. If babuya nale ya SuperSport le yana bidlala ku engine ngaba i-draw ngaba mhlawumbe belose lapha but then mabezobuya nale SuperSport kade sibona izolo kade sibona njalo implayer vike edlule inswempu kakhulu.
Yeah. Guys, I want us to touch on one more thing before we end the show, right? We know that our under-17s, they'll be going up Africa to Ivory Coast. Just on Friday, some of the guys will be traveling to play in what FIFA has called talent identification tournaments. Guys, that's very exciting. Abo Mareletse, Selwyn Stevens, Bukamuso Mukokosi, all traveling to play that side.
Yeah.
How do we feel about maybe some of the selections, and then how do we see the games going? Ora.
Ke nagana gore ba nnile le a good run mo 2 weeks na ba tshameka di friendly matches ba nnile le a good run ke nagana gore ba tlo ya ko Ivory Coast ba represent sentle o gopola gape le yone that TDS ya boa gape ke nagana gongwe mo September mo ile gore ba tlo select us tlhopha se sengwe sa TDS under 17.
Tla tso bua ra a gantsa la ke ha re bue every now and then a re gasa ra a gone anu e yone ke yone ka go maka bana a tlwaela go dirang a tlwaela go a kuntla ba tshameke le mo Afrika borwa fela ba tlwaela gore ba palama ba tsama ba kuntle go pele gore le weather e tshameka karolo e itseng mo mmeleng wa motshameki kgotsa mo motshamekong ka jalo go nna ntse ba tswa ba tsamaya ba go tshameka kuntle go ga re thusa ebile go ga rona Afrika borwa ka gone bokamoso ba rona mo matsogong a ba fa makabana bo mokokoso buile ka bone bo mareletse buile ka bone ka jalo for nna ka itumela ntse la ka ntse ba tswa ba ya kuntle ka gonne ba tswaela ke ra ba godisa ba tswa fana ba ya ka ba go first team ba go international ba go overseas ka jalo go gontle gore gone yanong ba tsama ba go tshameka kuntle ntsala
Sifiso le ntwana uthi ziyenzani isigibela indiza
hayi lalela
balamela sipalangwa
into sipalangwa sahaha into engichazayo mina mfethu nge-national team yethu ukuthi mawubheka lapha kuneyintwana ezincane ezingama under 15 most okubonisayo ukuthi kusazolokhu ukukhula mawubheka omphimeti sihodo ubheke lapha nabo Khadebelwandiso abantwana isesencane lezi equalify uma under 15 leyo nto le into right ngoba kusazokhula le ntwana lezi ayikafiki le level lesifuna zingafika lapha eziyakhona sifike idliwe sesemnandi because siyakhulisa into engichaza ngaleyo mfethu intwana ezincane.
Yep, so we are excited. There's lots happening in terms of youth development football. I think if you're a young, developing youngster, it's such an exciting time to get stuck in, work on your game, and really be involved. But that has been it. Episode 15 into the books. It's been the away game for the guys. We've been in the Cape. We've been in Côte d'Ivoire. We've been all over the place. But thank you for coming along with us on the ride. We thank the personnel from Bayhill Premier Cup. They've given us good insights. And they will definitely have us on comms there next year. The guys are dead. Thanks Coscarinho once again for coming through, and he's done his homework. He always does his homework. He'll be back again next week with a little bit of special insights. And then for the panelists, Bafetu, you and I will meet at the village. But until such a time, it is a kati.
Sacha Tsefo, what a